How's it going, Blazers? Working to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. Let me know your thoughts on this knife as well, and let's get into it. Thank you to UrbanEDCSupply.com for providing this knife for review. And then we're going to look at this one here. And they are taking pre-orders on it now, so it is going to be shipping about November time period. And they also do have a payment program, so if you're thinking that the knife might be a little bit out of your range, if you're going to be spending, like if you buy a knife every month, you can probably afford this if you're looking at it. So we're going to look at this one. This is a prototype of a Justin Lundquist design. So this is going to be one that is going to be a little bit darker for the actual production knife. This is the Baby Barlow. So this is going to be a collaboration between Justin and Urban EDC Supply. So that's going to be, it is small. I mean, it's a Baby Barlow, but this is going to be one that's going to have M390 for steel. So as long as they do this heat treating correct on it and everything else, it's going to be running pretty well. So I mean, you have different ranges for some of the ideals within like corrosion resistance. You have the hardness levels, and then you also have edge retention in comparison to all the other super steels out there. So we're going to look at some of the other ones that are kind of small too, so get an idea as far as how big this is. You do have a ruler up here too if you want to reference that, but this is going to be one from Tuya, which is a small knife. This is the S&S Saturday Night Special. So that's going to be a small one there. You also do have a standard as far as the Rat 2. Then you have another one which is going to be the Squid. There's the Copper Squid from CRKT. So personally, I think that I would like to have maybe this in this size. So maybe a big brother to the Barlow for it. So that's would be my preference on that. Maybe a little bit bigger, but that's still a good size. Still be a nice EDC type of sizing for a lot of folks. And it's basically for this one, it's going to have a very small blade for it. This is 2.3 ounces for it as far as the actual weight on it. And then the current pricing is going to be ranging anywhere from $199 to $215. And that's why I said that you have the payment plans. So they do have an option to do that. So $54 a month for payments. Then you could have this knife when it ships in November. So that's where you can kind of figure if it might be worth it to you. Because a lot of times if you have a knife that you really want and really going for, it's like, oh, that's too expensive, I'll just buy this knife. Oh, that's too expensive, I'll just buy this knife. Oh, that's too expensive, I'll just buy this knife here. Oh, that's too expensive, I'll just buy this knife as well. So that's kind of where it kind of comes about, where you kind of keep on buying knives when you have one in mind that you really want, and then you kind of actually spent more or the same than what you actually would have spent if you just went and saved up and got the one that you wanted, if that's the one that you want. So that's really for any knife. So that's going to be for anything that's out there. So if you like the content so far, and then just consider subscribing to the channel. Lets me know as far as if I'm heading in the right direction for things, and then also leave me any comments down below too. But thank you very much for joining me so far for this one here. So this knife here is also a different flipper. So it's not going to be a standard flipper tab. This one is kind of a top flipper. So it does have a little bit of notching on it. So I'll try and zoom in on this a little bit so you can see what it looks like. So it's right there. It's kind of a top flipper. And so it has this little nubs here. So if you put your finger on top of it, you're going to flip it out that way. And then also, it does have another way of deploying. So it's kind of inadvertent as far as this opening method, because when I talked to them, this wasn't intentionally an opening method. It was kind of more of a nod to the design as far as a nail nick. But with the relief to get to the actual release, there actually is a way. You just put your thumb in there, and you can actually use it as a separate deployment method. So that's something if you want to be a little bit more discreet, then you could use it that way to actually be able to deploy it without actually having it flip out, because there's some environments where you're not going to want to flip out a knife, even though it's really tiny. So that's kind of the knife for that right there. So 2-inch clip point blade for it, and then also this is going to be about 6 sheets of paper behind the edge. So if you talk about behind the edge thickness, that's going to be something that when you're cutting something a little bit thicker in material paper wise, that's going to be just the apex as far as what the point is like. So you could actually take like an axe or something that's really a really thick material and still get it to a point where you can cut paper. So that's where if you want to cut something thicker, if you're not just opening like packages or mail, then that really doesn't matter too much for that. So that's about 6 sheets of paper if you take it out of your copy machine or printer, and then that's going to be about 23 thousandths beyond the edge. It also does have a carry of tip up, so it's right hand tip up carry only for this one here. So that's going to be how that's going to sit for you. And then this one is going to be made in Italy, so it actually is going to be from Fox Knives in Italy. So for this one, I would say to either buy or borrow. So it's going to be something that you're going to have to decide whether this is for you, because some people are going to just love it. Some people are going to think it's too small. There's going to be all these different mentalities behind it. But you do have those two opening methods. And I did recommend, I actually asked if they could actually do it, because it wouldn't actually be much more machining to it. But if they actually did do, as far as this cutout right here, so that's actually the cutout to do the liner release. But if they just actually extended that a little bit further down the edge, then you could actually have this full range of this nail neck channel instead. So you could actually access that for the knife. So that was my recommendation for it. Since this is still a prototype, they might be pretty close to being locked in as far as the final design, but that was kind of my input for that. So let me know on this one. So again, Justin Lundquist Design, urbanedcsupply.com. Thank you for providing the knife, and check out their website as well. They have a lot of different items. They have other knives, other EDC gear, of course. So check that out, and then thank you again for your time.